Mike, it's 3 o'clock. You know what time it is.
No, please, Logan.
I don't give a fuck.
No,
it's
please.
fucking 3 o'clock. Get on your fucking
I'm
knees,
sorry.
Mike. Do as I fucking say. Hey everybody, I'm back to talk about the biggest internet scumbag, Logan Paul. And no, not because he's paying everybody back from CryptoZoo, because George broke his silence on why he left the Impulsive podcast.
There was certain. He is clocked out. Yeah, I know.
George has been under a tremendous amount of abuse.
No,
Stop, George. I want you over here with me. George, I want you over here with me. Chase him down. Go. You find him. George, no, go get him. Go get him. I said.
And now, Mike saying, I want you over here with me to George actually makes a lot more sense when we now roll this clip from his newest podcast.
He started the episode putting his balls in my face. I let that one go. Then every 2 seconds, he kept grabbing my dick.
I don't think.
How would you feel if a man that has his back completely towards you, that only turns around to grab your dick,
right,
talk shit to your face, and you can't smack or beat the living brakes off of this guy? Because Logan makes me apologize to this man, or I don't have a job on Impulsive anymore.
Now that clip brings a lot more context to the situation, like the fact George did not leave because of a joke. He left, 1, for being sexually assaulted, 2, for being flat out disrespected by everyone there, his co-hosts and the guest, and on top of everything else, Logan Paul got his fucking master's degree in gaslighting because he made fucking George apologize to Bobby so that Bobby would still like him.
How fucking crazy is that?
I don't think I understood. I can only speak for myself.
Bro, it's on a group chat.
I hope you can understand
it's on a group
that.
Chat.
No. I'm talking about during the episode.
Now, of course, I understand that Mike is Logan Paul's lapdog, but he's acting like it's rocket science here. Like, you were there. You have eyes, you have perception. You could obviously tell with your perception George was uncomfortable, and with your eyesight, you could obviously see that he was being touched. And let's say in fucking some weird parallel universe where they didn't, he was sending shit in the group chat
and said George just left. That was not good. We have to fix this situation.
But did they not cut shit that you should have stood up for me and said, hey, you can't cut that shit? That's gonna make him look like an idiot for leaving.
Okay, let's slow down, and I'll answer that. We have always cut. This is all healthy, by the way. We have always cut.
Start crying.
No. Which by the way would be healthy. We have numerous times on the show, which I'm sure a number of shows do, cut things that we believe will protect the integrity or reputation of the guest.
That protected nobody but him.
No, of the guest. That's what I'm trying.
Well, what about the guy that you break bread with, bro?
Huh. Well, it doesn't seem like you're off the couch, Mike. I don't know. At least in my opinion, you can let me know if I'm wrong in the comments. When it comes to a podcast, I like to think that a podcast is to get to know the person better, their life experiences, their opinion on things. I mean, at least when I watch a podcast, I would like to think that there's minimal to no editing unless they need to take a bathroom break or something else along those lines.
But we removed a number of things that you said on the podcast.
Name one.
Well, no, I'm not going to.
Booty, bro.
No. Do you want me to? There was something that you said on the laser beam episode.
What laser beam episode?
Do you remember laser beam in Australia? When we did that episode? I'd rather not say. I can tell. Why don't I just tell you?
Just tell me. I'll beep it.
You said something about like laughing at a girl getting hit in like a parking lot. You saw like a fight.
Yeah, I just said the joke wrong.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I didn't actually harass somebody, man.
I'm not. Listen, I'm not trying to die a 1-to-1. I'm just saying we.
But okay, Mike, if this was an episode that was you, and what happened to you, and then the whole world thinks that I walked away because I can't take a joke, that's
I don't know whether or not to be mad or impressed that Mike constantly has something to fucking say. I mean, there's just constantly an excuse after a fucking excuse. I mean, I have a shit ton of fucking siblings, a lot of them very young because I'm the oldest out of all of them. And let me tell you, it's like talking to fucking a 6-year-old or a fucking 4-year-old. They just always have something.
But after the episode, do you remember when you called me? And I said, Mike, this is all that happens. And you said, verbatim, you said, it's our fault for not telling you this, but me and Logan are really the ones who should be talking to the guest. You are really there for a boys only episode. So while I get sexually harassed, my other co-host is trying to fire me, and you're trying to leverage me to be quiet during other guests. And then on my birthday, you guys shot 3 episodes, so I couldn't show up.
I just think
on my 30th birthday, you shot 3 episodes. Bro.
I think
that's crazy. It was on the calendar for months.
I think by the time we got there was so much like confusion and.
From the outside looking in, it looks like Mike and Logan are kind of treating this like 2 high school girls. They're scheduling shit around so that he can't come due to other obligations that he's already agreed to. Not to mention, I don't know why they're not hanging out with their friend on his birthday. But also, I do find it funny that they were trying to silence him, considering he's the smartest out of the 3. Which, of course, that's no rocket science, considering these are the 2 women that they're both dating.
You know what
the one
last
standing
straw
up
for me
for
was?
you.
The last straw for me was, Mike, I had to escape. I had to leave for my own fear. When Logan came after me for my religion, the show hit rock bottom and we weren't getting paid. I was getting paid $5,000 a month, and that's covering just Reed. I have a mortgage. I have my sister that works for me. I have Belle. I'm trying to get married. I had all these things. So I had to start my own show because we're not making money on this show, and I'm getting pushed out of this show.
Well, at the time, we weren't making money. You made money on the show.
Now, for this next part, I just want you guys to remember, he's saying that he is not making any money and that he needs money to support his wedding that he's trying to have and his wife and his employee staff that he has.
But when I got pushed out, and I'm seeing that I'm getting pushed out, and I start my own show, do you know what my final straw was?
What?
I got my show going, and then not only was I controlled and pushed around on Impulsive, but then Logan's making calls and directing my show. And I'm saying, hey man, you can't tell me what to do on my own show. That's not okay.
What's that about?
He told me that I couldn't take Celsius. And then I said, hey
he
man.
Didn't tell you that you couldn't take Celsius.
Messages.
No, he didn't tell you that you couldn't take Celsius. He
says if I take Celsius, I'm not a part of Impulsive.
Then he told you that if you take Celsius, that you cannot continue to be on Impulsive, which is the core driver for Prime, as you're going to continue to funnel viewership from the Impulsive show back to your show, which promotes a competitive product. Yeah. He also told you that if you wait 6 months after the deal's done, you're more than welcome to rejoin the show if you need to make money.
But they're always trying to find a way to push me out.
I don't.
You know what he told me? When I told you know what I told him? I think that was this is a guy who's this is a guy who's sending us screenshots of $11 million a week that he's making. Okay, and on top of that, we never got any money from Prime.
And now we realize why George is actually really mad. He's making pretty much $0 off of the podcast. He's making zero, like literally zero, off of fucking Prime sales or anything, which is crazy to me. And he's also at the same time trying to pay for a mortgage, his wedding, and a whole bunch of other crazy shit like staff. And if I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think that Logan would have cared if it was a Celsius contract or a goddamn Campbell's Soup contract. I just think Logan cared that it wasn't Logan's contract. And now I have been ripping a lot on Logan, and I'm going to throw this screenshot up right now. This is 11 million times 12, so about 11 million every single month. And I'm going to be honest with you, is it possible for him to make this much? Yes, but do I think that he is? Fuck no.
Then I said, well, what do you want me to do for my bills, bro? I got no money. And he says, go have your rich dad pay for it.
Listen,
that's fighting words, bro. Look at me.
No,
that's
but
fighting
you,
words, bro.
you
don't bring up somebody's father.
Would you say
bro.
that the way that you handled it from a word standpoint was mature, acceptable?
What did I say? That I beat the fucking brakes off of him?
Correct.
If he was in front of me, I would have swung at him.
But that's what I'm trying to say. We were at a point where no one was speaking properly to each other.
I love that he says we weren't speaking properly to each other like there's some elementary schoolers. But, I mean, in all actuality, what the fuck did they expect? They're fucking with the man's business deal and money.
And the only person, probably, that was the calmest out of the 3, I sent you a very nice text message.
Oh, I fucked up, guys. I'm sorry. Mike Melee Jackoff, Logan Paul, is actually the best person in the fucking world. He sent a nice text message after ignoring George's sexual assault. After seeing him mistreated in the workplace, underpaid, probably overworked. But he sent that fucking text message, guys. A nice one.
Mike, you went to Celsius to try to get my deal. called me right after you called them. You never called to check in on me.
Do you know?
You never called to see.
I texted you.
No, you didn't. It was after you went after the deal.
And by the way, I wasn't going after the deal.
You did.
I was going after the contract to bring to Logan and say, beat this with Prime, please.
George, I didn't go after your deal. I simply just went after your contract. And no, not because I fucking wanted to, sabotage it and make it so that you couldn't get it. No. Because I wanted Logan to beat it with Prime. Because that's me. Your best friend. Mike may jack off Logan Paul. In all seriousness, though, I'm done looking at these clips from the actual podcast. I am now going to look at Logan's response and then George's now deleted Twitter response.
I had to start my own show because we're not making money on this show and I'm getting pushed out.
You made money on the show.
I can show you my books. I was spending 10 G's a month being on the show.
All right, let's talk about this. Obviously, I wasn't on the podcast to represent myself, so I'd like to clarify a few things that were said. As well as having his own credit card, all expenses related to the show were paid for, including all travel and lodging. Obviously, George...
I just wanted to stop it right here because that card looks fake as fuck. Like, totally could be wrong, just my opinion. But you have enough money, Logan. What the fuck? Upgrade that shit.
Paid for, including all travel and lodging. Obviously, George's total reimbursement came out to $20,000, 317 cents. I'd love to see any books that show otherwise. Spending $120,000 a year to be on a show is a little confusing.
Admitting this makes me so mad I want to fucking kick a table over. But honestly, that is something I also thought was a little fucking weird. Why would you be paying $10,000 a month to be on a show?
This is a guy who's sending us screenshots of $11 million a week that he's making.
This statement is so crazy that it's almost laughable. That would mean I'm making $572 million a year. I'm nowhere near that. What happened was Prime had a very successful month. I think we did like 60 to 70 million, and I sent it to our group chat because I was proud of the business. I was stoked to show the boys, and I think George maybe misinterpreted that as like my personal income.
I had already said earlier I don't think that he makes that much a year. And on top of that, I don't think that he was sending that to the group chat because he was proud. He was probably sending that to the group chat because he's a selfish fuck that likes to brag.
Show hit rock bottom and we weren't getting paid. I was getting paid $5,000 a month.
But you did make a sizable amount of money on the show.
And by the way, always grateful. I was always grateful.
Something like that?
Yeah, I don't like to talk about money.
I know he doesn't want to talk money. I know he bleeped it out, but George made $317,000 in the 15 months that he got paid for on Impulsive. The work requirements consisted of about 3 days a month, 3 hours each day, traveling the world, networking, and meeting some of the coolest people ever. It comes out to about $2,300 per hour, and he also had 10% equity of the entire show.
Not you.
I know he doesn't like to talk about money, but let me just pull out his whole financial record. I mean, Jesus. And on top of that, I didn't need a fucking brochure for fucking the Impulsive podcast.
Not Caleb, not Kevin, not Dylan. Nobody fucking called me when I got fired.
George did not get fired. He quit. I'll touch on that in a second. But after he quit, I called him frequently. I reached out. I wanted to reconcile the friendship. I invited him to my birthday party and WrestleMania and even my ranch a few weeks later. He chose not to come. He also unfollowed all the people he mentioned on Instagram, which is maybe why they didn't call him. I don't know. I can't speak for them, but he still does not follow them to this day.
I love that Logan's like, I tried to ruin this guy's life, sabotage his business deals. Why doesn't he want to come to my birthday party? Like, are they all this childish? And by all, I mean like billionaires and millionaires. Like, what are you, fucking 7? Grow the fuck up.
And on my birthday, you guys shot 3 episodes, so I couldn't show up.
The 2 episodes he's talking about, not 3, were shot 4 days after George's birthday. His birthday's on January 3rd. We shot those episodes on January 7th. We were already in Vegas signing the UFC to Prime, and as we do, want to capitalize on the location and our use of time and energy and the guests in that city. George didn't come to work because he wanted to spend time with his family for his belated birthday, which I totally understand and we even praised.
One of the things that I love about George, he prioritizes his family and friends over anything.
I got my show going, and then not only was I controlled and pushed around on Impulsive, but then Logan's making calls and directing my show. He told me that I couldn't take Celsius.
So this is the big one. Making calls, trying to make it seem like I wanted to control his show is absolutely ridiculous. As you can see right here, I was like, hey, we got to get you Prime because I saw him drinking our competitor, and he told me to call him. He was filming my reaction to tell me he took a deal with a competitor. I told him, please don't film. Like, I'd like to talk about this. I hope you're joking, by the way. The truth is, I thought it was a bad look that my best friend and co-host took a brand deal with our competitor without consulting me, asking me, giving us even a chance to match it before he signed the deal, because the audience that he's building, at least at the time, on his own podcast was being funneled directly from the podcast that I was building with him. I said, hey dude, I understand you need to make money. The entire text is right here that I sent him after our conversation, because I did understand his position if he needed to make money, but I thought it was also a little odd because he did make $317,000 in 15 months. Regardless, I did tell him I can't have him on Impulsive if he's going to take the deal with the competitor, but if after he makes the money he wants to come back to the podcast, he's more than welcome.
Hey man, where you're at, there's no room for you to grow. They won't let you grow. They will not let you grow.
I thought saying that to Mike was a little crazy. He's grown a lot. He has 2.7 million subscribers since we met. He's a multimillionaire, a best-selling author. I tried as much as I could to help him get into those positions, and it's not entirely because of me. Mike is a phenom in his own right, and he capitalized on the platform that I gave him, which is awesome. Just like George is doing now, but if that's not growth, like what is? In fact, I think people forget, like, I praised George for starting a podcast like a lot.
Georgie started his own podcast. I think it's a great idea. I always love when my co-hosts venture out and do their own things. Congratulations. It's awesome, guys. Check out his podcast.
And also saying they won't let you grow was a little hurtful because I thought at least I helped Mike do some of the things that he did, and I even encouraged him to start his own podcast.
I think you should take a page out of Georgie's book and start a show of your own.
There's no greater feeling than watching people you love succeed. I tried to give people around me a platform, and if they capitalize on it, fantastic. Mike and George did. And George will even tell you this off camera. I encouraged him to pursue media and comedy since 2015. I really believe in the kid, and I still do. There's a lot more. I'm not going to get into it, but this isn't to say, by the way, that I didn't fuck up along the way. I did. I should not have mocked his beliefs. I apologize for that. I should have stuck up for him with Bobby Lee, and I definitely should have had his back more like a friend. There's a lot of things I would have done differently, but here we are. It saddens me that our story has unfolded this way. I wish him nothing but health, wealth, happiness, all the success that he wants, and I hope that one day we can sit down and have a relationship and a conversation.
As far as responses and YouTube apologies go, I'm actually going to go ahead and give Logan Paul some credit. That was actually some pretty decent response, and he even showed some receipts. I'm going to go ahead and look now at George's response to Logan's response to George's podcast. Jesus Christ, that was a fucking mindfuck.
Dang. First of all, happy Mother's Day before I get into this drama, because I gotta go take my mom out. I'm having a splendid day today. Second, yo, your TikTok is cute, bro. It's cute. I get it. You're doing your best to show face. Do whatever you need, bro. Like, talk to your team. Do whatever you need. But when you want to be a man, come talk to me like a man. Let's sit down like men and talk about it. Mike did it. Mike's a real man. He had the chance to come, sit, talk, show all of his points of views, brother. You could bring camera. You could bring your attorney, bro. Come sit on the couch and talk to me like a man. Let's talk, bro. Because obviously you want to talk. Let's talk. Come talk to me, bro.
Well, since he wants to talk, and I'm sure Logan wants to talk, and, well, since they both have two competing podcasts, and I don't like fucking anybody, I hate humans in general, I am more than willing to have an unbiased interview on my channel. No, but in all actuality, thanks for stopping by, thanks for watching, liking, subscribing, whatever the fuck you did. And if you actually made it all the way to the end of this video, what the fuck are you doing here? You should probably go do something better with your life than wasting almost 18 minutes with me. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one for whatever dumb fucking person we cover next. Anyways, take regular shits and peace out like Girl Scout cookies.